Sorry, I just realized, you guys, my microphone was muted like the last the last 3 minutes, maybe plus. So I am going to start from the beginning as if I'm just going to start from the beginning because I just gave my whole intro spiel to myself. Wow, that's the first time for everything. Welcome to Steele Live. I'm Steele. It's awesome that you guys could join us tonight. Have an awesome show lined up for you tonight, covering some really amusing stuff, some interesting stuff, some fascinating things, and a little bit of everything in between. Before we get started, if I could ask you to smash that like button. It's the number one thing you can do to help an emerging channel like this get up inside those tricky YouTube algorithms, reach more people. If you're brand new here, I'd like to personally welcome you, and would like to welcome you to join this eccentric little growing community that we have over here in this corner of the interwebs. Just so feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit all on the notification bell. And lastly, if you feel compelled to super chat anytime throughout this episode, that's obviously hugely appreciated for all the time and efforts put in. You can do so through YouTube or through the Stream Elements link pinned at the top of the chat. Whatever your preference would be is cool with me. You can feel free to field myself or my esteemed colleague this evening, whatever questions, comments you'd like, and we'll do the best to field those within our abilities. At this time, I would like to introduce a lovely lady that needs little to no introduction in these parts, hailing all the way from Sydney, Australia. It is the lovely and sharp Sadaf Jadran. Sadaf, how you feeling?
Oh, I got sharp today. I'm good. How are you?
You got what today?
Sharp. You said lovely and sharp.
Yeah, you got sharp today. Yeah. How's that suiting you?
I'm feeling sharp, so it's fitting.
Very good. And how's Australia? How's Australia treating you?
I don't know. Do I really need to go into detail? It's all over the news. It's trending.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy. Our health minister yesterday decided to use the words New World Order, and it is literally trending on Twitter. She didn't show up to the press conference today. Her boss did on her behalf, so it's going crazy online.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. I mean, it's just, these are wild times. I mean, Orwellian times, frankly. It'll be really fascinating to see where Australia is going to be in 3 or 4 months from now. I mean, hopefully the worst is behind you guys. That's all I can say.
I don't think so at all. They had a plan yesterday that they released for when we hit 70% vaccination in New South Wales. So that's the state that I'm in. And basically, a few industries will open up to the fully vaccinated, and there was no mention of people who weren't vaccinated. So I think they had a Facebook group that decided to open up, and it's basically a group of people promoting their businesses and the fact that they don't discriminate between, vaxxed or unvaxxed. And I think they got some media coverage the day they opened the page up, and now it's got 130,000 members within, I think it's 36 hours or something. But it's crazy. And also, I mean, they're opening some stuff up, but also if you do get a case in those regions, then everyone goes back into lockdown. So it's kind of concerning because all these businesses, the poor guys, like, they're going to open up, and then if they have a case, they have to close again. It's going to be a cycle of opening and closing. So I don't actually know what the future holds. Lots of uncertainty here, but yeah, I just don't even watch the news much anymore. I get most of my stuff from Twitter, and surprisingly or unsurprisingly, Australia seems to be trending every other day.
Yeah, you don't have to look far. You
guys have some good content from me.
Yeah,
to make fun of.
Yeah, and things definitely got stepped up here through our current leader in terms of the V, and it's going to be partially mandatory for certain contract workers, federal workers. I think about 80 million people are are going to be covered under this new mandatory legislation coming through in the states regarding that. So people obviously have strong feelings about that, one way or the other. But as we know with our social media titan overlords here, we are probably just gonna leave the conversation at that. So we wish everybody the best. We wish everybody the best. So let's just crack into it. This one comes courtesy of Market Watch. Bitcoin briefly nosedives 18%. Dogecoin tumbles 30%. And market stages wipeout as El Salvador makes crypto legal currency. I'm just going to read a little bit of this, you guys. The turmoil in digital assets comes bad timing as El Salvador officially became the first country in the world to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, allowing Salvadorians to do anything from buying goods and services to paying taxes with it. Farad Rawaza, market analyst at Think Markets, said the recovery in crypto coincided with a tweet from the Salvadorian leader Nayib Bukele, who vowed to buy the decline in Bitcoin. Essentially, whether this will ignite fresh momentum, buying remains to be seen. Bitcoin repeated failure holds above 50K must be concerning some bullish investors, the Think Markets analyst wrote. Okay, before getting any more into this, just to be clear, what's happening here is we are seeing today, I don't know if you, it's even been more so today than usual, but the FUD and the negativity just being thrown at cryptocurrency in general by the mainstream media today is just off the charts, even for them, even for the mainstream media. And here El Salvador launches its Bitcoin initiative as legal tender during what would be obviously a rougher window to do so in terms of the market. And so they quickly point to this and said, oh yeah, Bitcoin's failing. El Salvador, I saw CNN and a few others point this out. This is proof that it's what the future holds if you let Bitcoin and cryptocurrency become legal tender in your country and blah, blah, blah. Firstly, these are people that have literally no clue what they're talking about when it comes to cryptocurrency and the trends of the cryptocurrency market, let alone familiarity with the history of those markets. Now, with that being said, anybody who's been in crypto for longer than a year plus knows that September is notoriously a bearish month. It's a bearish month every year. The last 5 years, September has been in the red. It's been bearish. And then it usually picks up considerably by mid-October. And it looks like we are kind of in a similar scenario this time around. And unsurprisingly, when we look at the trends of the last 4 years. Now, do you think that anybody at CNN or MSNBC or ABC News knows this, that's reporting on it? No, they don't know the first thing about the history of crypto markets. They don't know the first thing about the extra volatility that's involved and how that's a part of the growing process. Because the more adapted that cryptocurrency becomes and the more big money that starts aping in, which will inevitably and eventually, is my belief, then we're going to see less huge margin opportunities, but at the same time, we're going to see a lot less volatility and a lot more stability. Your thoughts, Sadaf?
Look, first of all, this president, he is so young. He is so young and he's so sassy. I saw his tweet when it did dip and he's like, well, we're buying the dip. We just, we've loaded up on 100 more Bitcoin or whatever it was. Awesome. I found that so sassy.
That's awesome.
But also, I think what you and I were speaking about, I do agree about regarding September, but we have a few astrologers in the crypto space who are pretty spot on with their new moon analogies.
Are you saying astrologists?
Is she an astrologist?
That girl we talk about sometimes. What is her name again? Marion?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, let me look up her name real quick. Will you proceed?
Yeah, no, she was pretty spot on as well. But yeah, I think we did expect this. We do have some areas of support that we know we haven't tested. So I honestly I just can't get over how sassy this president is. And I did make a tweet about, when we see a lot of crypto trending. I think that day I had Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, XRP, and one other thing that was trending on my Twitter, and I thought, oh my god, this is definitely like a sign to sell. But I was actually emphasizing on how important it is to sell the news. And I made a tweet about selling myself, and it kind of went crazy. But
I'm sure it did, Sadaf.
I was just emphasizing the selling the news, but yeah, I mean, we're not new to this. We know that this happens.
Right.
There's 4 different hashtags trending about crypto, and you're like, especially when they have. Please forgive that helicopter that's literally above my head right now.
They're coming for you. They're coming for you.
Last night I didn't get like the 5 minutes of like proper sleep because of this. It's constant. And I think they do that to monitor the curfew, like after 9 p.m. It's just crazy. But yeah, for some reason it's continuing 1:30 in the day as well. So I love this guy. I love what he's doing, and I just think it's such a fresh new face in the crypto world. I really appreciate him.
Yeah, right on. I like it too. I mean, here's the first time, guys. This is a huge breakthrough. We've got a young new leader in El Salvador who literally said today, when asked about the tumultuous start to his legislative effort as making Bitcoin legal tender, they said, what do you think? He says, well, we're buying the dip. It's essentially what he said, is we're buying the dip. We're going to keep moving forward. And that's awesome. That's someone that has enough experience and has enough knowledge to know that it is an advantageous time, particularly it has, over the last couple of days, it has been a very advantageous time to load up more Bitcoin if you have the means to do so. That is both amusing and encouraging for sure. Yeah. So
and
good.
you see the difference. Sorry, between I saw a tweet today. It said billionaire investor Leon Cooperman says, "I would be very careful with Bitcoin. I don't think it makes a lot of sense." Now, there's so many red flags in that little statement. If it doesn't make sense, you probably shouldn't have an opinion on it.
Right. If it doesn't make sense to you at all, then you obviously don't understand it. It's one thing to have an opinion on something and you logically break down why you have a distaste for it. But I mean, that's what we're seeing more and more. We're seeing more and I mean, it's kind of like the last gasp, so the last throws, right? Of the naysayers are going full bore against cryptocurrency now because they are seeing what is shaping up to be an inevitable future involving digital currency. It's pretty obvious even to all of them now. So we're kind of just seeing them lash out like spoiled kids on their last throws. Mm-hmm. And they're just kind of throwing anything at the wall in hopes that something is going to stick and resonate with the public. But people are ready. People are ready to get on with it. You know, people are ready to embrace their digital futures, and they are ready for currency alternatives. I'm of the mind of one of those people. I know there's a fair amount of people in crypto that are all about replacing fiat, this sort of thing. I'm not about replacing fiat. I'd like to see them both work in tandem. I think that's what's most reasonable, what's going to work best. I'm not against each respective company having a strong national currency. I think that's an important part of different countries having an established not only cultural identity, but an economical one as well. I think those things are important to keep the world more harmonious, not less, in my opinion. That being said, I see cryptocurrency walking and working side by side as a solution to many things fiat cannot solve, or credit cards. So I see them like in the future when you're checking out at a store. I just would love to see, and I think we are going to get there, whether it's Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Ethereum, whatever, that you could just, it's an additional checkout option, just like what we come to know as our credit cards, debit cards, things of that nature, you know? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, adopting it completely, I think we're still a fair bit away from that. And I know that a lot of people that, the oldies, they are investing, and I think they have a vision that eventually you won't need to sell your crypto into fiat, and it's going to be the future, right? But you jump on Twitter, you speak to the people who are investing, and the reality is, I could easily say 95% of people are in it just to make the money to cash out, right? So people don't actually understand it in a new economy changing the world kind of way. I think they're just in it to make money in fiat sense, which they weren't able to make in fiat sense, right? That's how I know we have quite a fair bit to go, unless it's something that's obviously adopted by more countries, more governments, and it becomes, a complete cashless society in this way. But other than that, anyone that's in it right now, they're definitely in it just to, make the gains, cash it out back to the same thing that we know is a problem, and continue life. So I think we're a fair bit away from that.
Yeah, we're a fair bit away. But it is something that I think is important to kind of think about overall in the template of where we're headed and what the objectives are. Like I said, I guess I'm a bit more of a moderate on this issue in terms of, I do think national currencies are respectively important, but I think cryptocurrencies are a necessary problem solver for so many things. It's just so obvious that it's needed for several different reasons at this point. But yeah, we'll get there. In terms of what's going on with, just saw Superchat there, in terms of what's going on now with the mainstream media and their perception of what's going on, you got to keep in mind, you got to take all this stuff with a grain of salt. We have, for the most part, almost everyone involved, not only in the mainstream media, but almost everyone involved in the mainstream financial media, with a few exceptions. They don't have the foggiest idea how cryptocurrency works, let alone its fundamentals, or let alone being familiar with its history in any significant fashion. So when you see them pop off that, Bitcoin's failing, cryptocurrency's failing, it's too risky, it's too this, too that, I mean, you're basically taking advice from it's almost like taking advice from it's like having your dentist put a new transmission in your car. They might have opinions about it, but they're not gonna really know what they're talking about. So yeah, anyway, let me go to the next story here. Oh my gosh, too many tabs open. You ever do that? Where you're just like, oh my gosh, I had all my notes. What's that? Mine are pretty shocking. My pages are delayed in loading because as soon as I open it up, there's 106 tabs open, and everything just takes forever to download. Yes. Gotcha.
And then when it gets you to forced restart, that's when you're like, oh no, I have to start from square one again.
Mr. X kicking things off, the first super chat of the night. I love it. Mr. X, good to see you again. The mysterious Mr. X, handsome alpha. I'm having a hard time reading this one. Thank you. Okay. Handsome Alpha Steele and Foxy Sadaf, DogeX to the moon. Thank you, Mr. X. Appreciate that. And yes, indeed, DogeX to the moon. I guess now's as good a time as any to pivot to DogeX. Those of you who don't know, DogeX, it's not a coin, just to be clear. It's an NFT project that has been founded by Matt Wallace and a team of artists that he's working with as well, and developers. And he asked me to come on board to be one of the primary spokesmen regarding the project. I took some time vetting it and feeling it out, and decided it was a project I was excited about. And so the momentum with DogeX is going really, really well, all things considered. It's about 3 days out. It was launched on the worst flash crash of Bitcoin history. It was launched with so much interest, which was good, but it caused their server to crash. So it delayed, it hampered and delayed some minting for the first hour or so. And then furthermore, because in part due to the flash crash, it had an astronomical effect on the gas fees for Ethereum. So where the team, we were dealing with high gas fees, temporary server crash, and a tremendous flash crash on the crypto market. But despite all those things, Dogecoin is still almost at 50% already sold out of its supply, of its minting. So this is very encouraging. And plus, because I've been checking the numbers fairly regularly, and new DogeXs are being minted by the hour, like 24/7. For a project as new as this, that is incredible. That's incredible from what I've seen compared to most rollouts, you know. So, and we got some great press on Benzinga today for the DogeX project. Well, Matt did. Exclusive. Matt Wallace says his NFT project DogeX will deepen ties between Dogecoin and Ethereum. And I'm so glad that they focused on this, because this is one of the main reasons why I came aboard this project, is because the Matt and the team's vision going forward to deepen the ties and the bridges between Ethereum and Dogecoin within its metaverse, within its respective metaverse. So that is something that's always been very important to me. And I'm a huge Ethereum fan, tremendous Ethereum fan. So anything we can do to effectively cross-pollinate these two currencies to make both of them more effective and just more, not only flexible, but efficient in every sense, and user-friendly, the better. Anyway, the article went on to say the Wallace-backed DogeX NFTs claim to bring the Doge legend to life. The collection is made of 10,000. So there's 10,000 collectible characters. The NFT series is made up of 5 characters: Earth Doges, Moon Doges, Journey Doges, Mars Doges, and Asteroid Doges, each progressively more rare than the rest. Even rarer still are NFTs seemingly named after Elon Musk, Mark Cuban, Doge co-creator Billy Marcus. These are Elon Doge, Doge Cuban, and Doge Billy Doge, of course. Wallace said that this is the most combinations ever released for an NFT project, which is true. Someone actually just got the Elon Doge, and there's still more of the rarest ones out there to be minted, he said. And then Matt also went on to say, DogeX moves in this direction by introducing the Doge community to the Ethereum blockchain. As per the content creator, the metaverse DogeX is developing will deepen. We will work hard to continue to deepen our ties, working on creating products and services that bridge Ethereum with Doge. And then Matt went on to say, it's a great step, changing the game for Dogecoin. The Doge Ethereum bridge is complete, and you will be able to buy a DogeX. Once the Doge Ethereum bridge is complete, you will be able to buy a DogeX NFT with Dogecoin. So that is the ultimate goal there regarding that. Now, the last bit of news I would like to get into about DogeX is they sold one on OpenSeas, one of the 6 rarest DogeX NFTs, just sold either last night or this morning for 10 Ethereum, right? So that is a pretty good chunk of change for an NFT project that's only 50% sold out so far. So that's a very good signal. It's a very, very good sign. Yes, the Sarge Doge sold for 10 ETH. Yes. So this is usually when you see a sign like that with 10 Ethereum being thrown around for one of the rarities this early on in an NFT project, that's a very strong signal. That's a very strong signal of things to come. So that was great news to wake up to. And I have to say, my personal experiences with both Matt and the team, the development team in this project, they have been incredibly responsive to the community and upgrades and things of that nature. They've been coming through very, very efficiently with upgrades, and they seem to be very, very focused and to do the best they can by its community and investors. So there you have it, guys. I don't know what else to add to the DogeX story at this time, but obviously I have a vested interest in all transparency, right? And I would love to see DogeX be the best it can be. I came on this project because I thought it had enormous potential, and I loved, like I said, I love the fact that they are working very hard to create and expand Ethereum and Doge bridging, which is awesome. And it was the first kind of Doge themed NFT project to directly reach out to Doge content creators, the Doge community firsthand, straight out of the gate like that. So I thought that spoke volumes as well. And if you're interested, just look up DogeX on YouTube, on Twitter, obviously, and their website is right in their bio. If you're interested in looking at their website, it's right in their bio, and that's where you do the minting to in the event you want to mint any DogeX. In addition to, I personally have minted a few, and I've been watching OpenSeas. It's a really good time. You could take advantage and snipe one of the higher value ones for a much lower price in this window, wherein sometimes people are not knowing what they're listing, right? Because it's still very new lines. So yeah, just a little tip there. Anyway, let's get to the next story up here. This comes courtesy of CNBC. And we touched on this a little bit earlier. Sadaf, El Salvador's new Bitcoin wallets could cost Western Union and similar companies $400 million a year. Of course, right? So in 2020, El Salvador received nearly $6 billion in remittances, which accounted for 23% of its gross domestic product. President Nayib Bukele estimates that money services providers like Western Union and MoneyGram lose $400 million a year in commissions for remittances thanks to the country's Bitcoin adoption. In this day and age, it's wild that I had to. This is a great point that these elected leaders are raising in El Salvador, and it's so funny to me that the El Salvadorian leaders get Bitcoin much more than any of our elected leaders, seemingly. Now, I mean, it's just wild. So, Jamie Garcia, a elected leader in El Salvador, said he really hates using Western Union to send money to relatives. In this day and age, it is wild that I had to go to a physical Western Union office, give them actual cash, and then hand them another $25 on top of that before they would send any more of my money over. And then, of course, it takes 3 days to actually arrive there. Oh, yes. They have to take, many people have to take a bus or go to a physical location to pick it up. And then there are gangs in the territories where my family are that hang around those offices, knowing people are going there to basically rob them. Right. Since he last sent money home, Garcia told CNBC he now has the option to make an online payment via Western Union, but he still faces steep fees, 12.5% for $100 or for just $100 transfer, and it doesn't solve the problem of what happens for those picking up cash. So,
exactly.
You know, I could go more and more into this, but this is something I've talked about at length in the past where, I mean, Western Union and MoneyGram and companies of the like, this is such an annoying, unsafe, and inconvenient way to send money to people, isn't it? I mean, it seems so incredibly archaic, given the options that we have now. I mean, this is not only dinosaur technology, but as I just illustrated in that story from CNBC, dangerous technology, right? Dangerous technology and for its archaicness. I mean, it puts people at risk. You become a target. I've gone into some pretty unsavory Western Union locations over the years, and I had to watch my back a few times too. Those places really are targets, and many times they're not in the safest areas. This to me just seems like a no-brainer. This is one of the main things cryptocurrency solves immediately. I mean, we just need to get on with it. What do you say, Sadaf?
Yeah, I don't think it's a secret that I'm extremely bullish and supportive of TEL, and then bigger picture XRP. But I think Telcoin is going to change this completely. That is why that's something that I'm continuously obviously investing in. Not just because it's the talk of the town now, but because I actually see it solving such a big problem. So, you know, I did the collection for Afghanistan via GoFundMe, over a month ago now. And look, it's been a horrific experience. One, you know, you look at their fees, I understand that they need to manage their business, and there's a lot of costs that are shared across the different points. But I think from the donated funds, they take about, from my donated funds, they're taking about $900 out of the $13,200 that was donated. So $900 is just in fees. I know $900 doesn't sound too much, but in Afghanistan, $900 is a lot. And I haven't heard anything back from them yet. I have sent 16 emails since they're doing a compliance check on anyone that's collecting money being sent to Afghanistan because of the dangers. Obviously, all the Western Unions there were cancelled. Were closed. Any transactions going there were obviously cancelled temporarily. The banks were closed. A lot of things were happening, and I still haven't had a response. I've reached out on Twitter. I've made 2 complaints. I've opened 6 support tickets. Absolutely nothing yet. And I mean, it's concerning because the reason it was set up was because they needed the help and the aid there and then. Like, it needed to be instant. If not a week later. It's now been 6 weeks. Since then, they've had a new government literally take over, you know, a few more attacks. People are, it's just getting worse, right? And I still don't have any updates on where the money is, what's happening with it. And this is why it's like so important. I mean, even if it did go through, right? Let's say that they did approve it. The fact that Western Union is closed and people aren't able to access the money there, even if it gets there, is the second part of the problem. But just in terms of I guess the little hubs that they have, they are like, even in a country like this, they're pretty dangerous. Like generally the Western Unions here, it's literally just it's a hub with just a window. So it's not a safe place that you can walk into with, a large amount of cash. It's just a little screen. They're completely protected, but you're standing outside in the middle of either a shopping center or a naked street, and you're taking all this cash out and handing it over and trying to make a transaction. You are literally a target. Someone could sit there all day and just start attacking every single person that goes there, right? So it definitely needs to change. Like the way money is being sent, especially in these kind of situations, it needs to change. Yeah, significantly.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And I think you really hit the nail on the head there in terms of really emphasizing just how dangerous it really is and what a liability it becomes. And I've seen it. I have picked up money and walked out of money in a Western Union a little bit after dark, wherein people were just waiting for the right targets, obviously. And the only reason why I made it out, I think, is because I walk very assertively, and I'm not a small guy either. I'm a little over 6'2" and broad-shouldered and so on. But I just imagine if you were a single woman, right, walking out. I mean, that's exactly what people do. They're just easy target centers, just to pick people off for picking up money. I feel no sympathy, for Western Union. The fees have always been very outrageous. Usually my interactions with the employees have been very unpleasant. It's just, it's just one of those things. It's time for us to get on with it. I think it's just one of those things where it's time for Western Union to become, the blockbuster of movies. We're done with it. It's a data technology. Yeah. It's not convenient. Not only is it not convenient, it's dangerous. It's a dangerous. It's a dangerous and archaic way of dealing with cash transactions, money transactions, whatever. We're done with it. I think most people are done with it. It's time to get on with it. The leaders of El Salvador understand this, but here we have many of our own elected leaders in the United States, anyway, throwing all kinds of just crazy hyperbolic FUD without even understanding the fundamentals. And it's obvious to me that, most of these people's pockets and campaigns have been, lined with particular companies and corporations on Wall Street, some hedge funders, things like this. You don't have to. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out the motivations towards many of these politicians speaking disparagingly and legislating disparagingly towards cryptocurrency. I will say we have seen some signs of hope from a few different elected leaders that are seemingly pro-crypto and pro-freedom in that regard. And I don't know how your how your political class is perceiving cryptocurrency in Australia. Do you, Sadaf?
Look, I know that, and I've mentioned this before, they may not be talking about it, but you go on any online, job platform, and you will see that people are hiring in the division of crypto, blockchain, a lot of data and blockchain related roles, and it's pretty clear why anyone would be even looking at hiring those kind of skills. So it's definitely happening. But I just wanted to add to the point earlier. I've had over a decade in banking, and when you're in there, you realize these timeframes that they give you, which is, when you want to transfer money to someone, let's say in Australia, it takes, if it's a new account, it'll take about 48 hours, or if you're transferring overseas, it takes up to 5 days. those things actually don't take that amount of time. But there are rules for banks explaining it simply, the amount of money that needs to be in their holdings per day for the interest that they make. That is all that it is. These things could be fast transactions. They don't need to be, because we don't know any better, but they're still making their money, right? Like when you want to, take $1 million out of your account, for example, it's $1 million loss, but if they can delay it by 2 days, and let's say they earn $2,000 per day that your million's in there, they will do that. And that's literally what all of these things are. There's when you get into it, there's just the red tape is there because it's for their gain. It's not because they can't do it, but it's so refreshing to see, people stepping into this space and trying to solve some of these problems that could have been solved by the banks, but were ignored. And you know what? They had a really great run with it, and a lot of people, they made a lot of money off it, but times are slowly changing, and they'll jump on board. So they will, generally with let's say banks here, as soon as they see competition or a new emerging technology, they won't even try and compete with it. They'll actually buy it out, and then it becomes kind of part of their offering, or any new ventures, they'll invest in it, and they'll because that's just the way forward now. So how long are you going to continue to create streams of teams that are going to compete with things like Afterpay, or there's heaps of different kind of startups here that help you pay your loans or your bills in small business, for example, month by month or day by day. Sometimes it's easier for these businesses to make a payment daily rather than monthly, which is generally what banking does. And they didn't hesitate to buy over these new ventures and just integrate it with their own system and make an offering, rather than trying to compete with it. So I think that's their approach, and they'll jump on board the moment this starts getting adopted widely, which I already think they're doing. You wouldn't be hiring those skills, like I said, if it's not something that you're looking to invest in. And you have to remember that every single one of these industries here, they do have teams that constantly look at market trends, all of those things that are happening in the market, upcoming technologies, and they're more prepared for those things now than they were ever before. So they'll see an emerging trend, and they'll start researching it, start creating a team, jump on board as soon as a new product is launched. So I think El Salvador is just the beginning, really.
Yeah, I do too, and we are seeing this kind of spread throughout South America and entirely, really, as well. Josh Randell disavows coming in with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. He says, I have to be in the top 5 Steven Steele superfans. You easily are. You easily are, Josh. I could be misusing a hottie server right now, yet I am here, and the moon gets closer every day. Steele fam. Well, I am honored that you would choose to be here, super chatting, listening to this program instead of serving up a server. So thank you, Josh. Really appreciate it. Let's see. Let's get to the next story here. This one's kind of just interesting, kind of funny. A Kings of Leon NFT will soon launch on SpaceX's private inspiration for spaceflight. The NFTs will be auctioned off to benefit St. Jude's Children's Hospital. The rock band Kings of Leon are headed to space. Well, sort of. SpaceX's private inspiration mission lifts off next week. It will carry one of the band's songs and a gallery's worth of digital art to orbit. The all-civilian space flight, which is scheduled to launch from NASA's Kennedy Space Center on Tuesday, will carry 51 NFTs, including a never-before-released performance of Kings of Leon's Time in Disguise. Time in Disguise will get a workout during the mission. becoming the first minted NFT song to ever be played in orbit. This is so silly to me. That's Inspiration team members said in a statement today. The 50 other NFTs, short for non-fungible tokens, are pieces of art created by 50 different artists they added.
Yeah, I gotta say, all this outer space and leaving Earth talk couldn't have come at a better time. It's giving people some hope.
Yeah, it really is. So, Inspiration aims to raise $200 million for St. Jude's Hospital, and the NFTs are part of this plan. They and many other items flying on the mission, which you can read about, and there's a hyperlink, will be auctioned to support the hospital and its work. Time of Disguise auction organized by Yellowheart is underway, runs through September 20th. Bids as high this afternoon were upwards of $50,000. This gets to a point where I am all for embracing our digital art futures with NFTs. I'm all about it. I'm very bullish on NFTs, but it just gets kind of to the point of absurdity where it's like we're mixing the NFTs with the first rock song played in orbit, mixed with. We're going to actually put physical trading cards in orbit too. It's just kind of, I think we're kind of in a, what would I describe it as? I think because this is all so new, you are going to see some like unintentionally hilarious ideas rolled out as NFTs and the economy surrounding it kind of finds its place and finds its footing, So I think this is kind of an example of that. I mean, I'm not against what this is going on, particularly since it's for charity, which I think is awesome. But at the same time, I'm sorry. This is kind of ridiculous. I don't know.
There's going to be a first for everything.
What's that?
There's going to be a first for everything. So
right
in space, right? The first toothbrush used, it's just going to be everything.
No, you're exactly right. That's exactly my point, Sadaf. It's like, you could really make first everything at this point. So exactly. The next one's going to be like the first toothbrush. Is that what you said? I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first toothbrush, the first, you can already see all the products, right? Trying to be the first mouthwash in space, the first, ramen noodle in space, whatever. Actually, I'm sure it would far be from the first ramen noodle in space. I'm sure that strikes me as a distinctly go-to astronaut food, something that's dehydrated that could be easy to prep.
Don't they have like liquid stuff that they have in space? Isn't it just liquid that they eat?
I think so, yeah, because or else it would get all kind of jumbled and lost in the lack of gravity. So
yeah, I don't know, don't quote me, but
I don't think it's all liquidized. I think it's frozen, like freeze dried. I think it's because that's what astronaut ice cream comes from. It's freeze dried ice cream.
Yeah.
So, in like a foil. So I think it's a mix between freeze dry foods and liquidized foods. Abstractus says they're thinking the aliens want to hear some music. Yeah,
honestly, I told you from day one that all this advertising that we're doing, I think it's to target whatever's out there.
You think there's deliberate marketing campaigns going on for other life forms?
What use do they get from doing it and just broadcasting it to us down here? I think the real broadcast is happening for whatever's out there.
So maybe Kings of Leon is targeting a new alien demographics for fans. Wild Out says, anyone here ever tried freeze-dried Skittles? No, sir. I didn't even know such a thing existed.
I didn't even know. Yeah.
Truckin' All Day says, Doge Cuban was just minted. Check it on Twitter. Ooh, one of the most rare DogeXs was apparently just minted. So what that means is it's available on. Oh no, it was just minted, so someone just bought it. That's what that means. Let me check it out. I'm going to the DogeX Twitter right now. I think that was one of the 6 rarest ones, so we'll go see what's going on there. Rare DogeX alert. This is breaking news for DogeX anyway. Doge Cuban has been minted. Our lucky winner, Doge Matt, DOJ Matt, has promised to hold his ultra rare in a way that's good for all DogeX holders. 5 ultra rares left to mint. Congrats to Doge Matt, and he's mixed it up in the Discord over there. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, and he's holding on to it for a bit, which I think is the smart thing to do as the collection moves forward, as enthusiasm moves forward, as that floor raises higher and DogeX becomes more and more valuable. I think things are shaping up very, very well for DogeX, and it's not going to be too much longer before all of the collections sold out and minted, and that's when the fun really begins for holders. That's when it really kicks in. Let me see. Let's go to the next story here. This one was just funny to me too. This one comes courtesy of Futurism.com. You guys remember when Richard Branson? Remember when he went on that? And you heard the footage of his very intense-looking face being blasted off into the shallow parts of orbit before returning on his Virgin Airlines expedition. Well, it is now revealed that Richard Branson's rocket went way off course during spaceflight. The pilots have now reportedly chose to ignore a red light that lit up in the console. Oh my. Virgin Galactic CEO Richard Branson traveled high into the upper atmosphere in July aboard his space company's Unity rocket plane. An event, there's something about something about super, super duper rich, powerful people that they all have like visions of saving the world, right? It's kind of like one of the default responsibilities that you think fall upon you. And they always kind of like, everything is like an attempted, every project that they end up launching, no pun intended, it kind of has like this quasi new agey, kind of cringy, like one world kind of vibe. You ever notice that? In Richard Branson, the Unity rocket plane. Like, what are you unifying? This is like an independent expedition you're funding so you can go into the upper atmosphere with the intention of profiting off it in the future through Virgin Galactic, a subsidiary of Virgin Airlines, so you can sell these kinds of expeditions for customers. Now, I don't have a problem with this. I'm a capitalist. I don't have a problem with this. But do we have to really put it under the veneer of some, lofty, like, world unification kind of thing? Like, I don't know. It's just stuff like that to me. It just kind of is. It's a kind of a pet peeve of mine. It was kind of back in the day where in the 80s they had this thing called Live Aid with all the rock stars in the Western world to get together for this big concert to feed and clothe Africa, and then the whole world decided they were going to save Africa, and then like a lot of the funds got misappropriated, and the government at the time in Africa like hoarded big chunks of the money. I don't know. There's just something. It's kind of like the same as it ever was. I'm not criticizing philanthropic efforts. Obviously, I'm all for hardcore charities and in every capacity to as much as people are willing and can be involved. I'm all for it. But you really gotta. It's really tough for me to take like philanthropic orders from like Hollywood elites and like Most billionaires, maybe with the exception of Elon Musk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it needs to stop at the donation.
Yeah.
I don't think that they get, a default right into an advisory board to dictate, like, how it's being spent, what should happen, where the focus should be. I think you just need to do the donating and leave it at that.
Yeah, there's just something about, like, I don't know, like Charlize Theron, lecturing you about, saving starving children and that you're not doing enough. I'm like, well, your income's about compared to the average person. Like, I don't think you should, like, be haughty and lecturous towards the working class about your pet charity project. You know what I mean? There's just something very, very distasteful to me about that. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. I don't think they get to speak on a topic they have no experience on.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just need to do the donating and move along.
Right. And it's almost like, and we see this a lot in different sectors where certain elites that take up, and not this point's not even specifically just elites, but people that take up kind of different social causes or charitable causes more as catalysts for more self-absorption, more as catalysts to draw more attention to themselves. You know what I mean? And it just kind of becomes like this secondary mechanism to just draw more attention to themselves, essentially. And so it's just, to me, it's like a very transparent thing. This, by the way, I didn't mean to go on this kind of tangent with this story about Richard Branson. It was just one thing that kind of set me in this direction. But it's also, Sadaf, why we are seeing significantly declining ratings with the Oscars and the Golden Globes and things like this. I mean, the ratings for these kinds of ceremonies have gone down so significantly in recent years. They've been pretty much cut in half ratings-wise over the last few years. I think just overall, there's a pretty large swath of the population that's just over the sanctimonious lecturing that happens at every single one of these. And I don't mean to make this a polarizing thing politically by any means, but no matter what you're talking about, like, I don't want to, like, tune in all night to people who are some of the most famous and wealthiest people in your respective societies just lecturing you about what you need to care about, right? And most of the people that are watching are living paycheck to paycheck, or maybe a bit more than that. It's just kind of like, you know what? How about you get bent? How about that? How about you just worry about your shit?
That's what you're really thinking.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Sorry for the tangent, guys. But Nurse Terry Reed's in the chat. Welcome, Nurse Terry Reed. Just got home for a 13-hour shift. Dropping by to say hey and smash that like. Love our real deal and our Doge family. We love you back, Terry Reed. It sounds like you're in dire need of some relaxation. So get yourself some tea and kick up your feet and go easy on yourself, Miss Reed. Anyway. Now get this, back to this story. The red light wasn't the only, worse yet, Virgin Galactic failed to acknowledge the incident to the FAA. That's a big no-no. Spokesperson confirmed to the New Yorker, the red light wasn't the only warning sign. Virgin Galactic's lead test pilot and flight test director, Mark Forager Stuckey, that's quite a name, was stripped of his flight duties and excluded from planning for July's flight following the publication of Schmidl's book Test Gods in May. I don't even know what that's about. Stuckey repeatedly warned about protecting the integrity of the program, arguing that the team was overworked and understaffed. In a 2017 email obtained by him, 8 days after Branson's flight, an HR manager fired Stuckey over Zoom. That's a funny term, fired Stuckey over Zoom. The space tourism company maintains that July 11th's flight was as safe as successful as a test flight that adhered to our flight procedures, training, and protocols, according to a statement by them, noting that the trajectories remained without mission parameters. Although the flight's ultimate trajectory deviated from our initial path, the Unity flight did not fly outside the lateral confines of the protected airspace. At no time the ship travel above population centers or cause hazard to the public, but records now show that this is distinctly false. So I don't know. I just kind of got a kick out of that story. I don't have like strong feelings about Richard Branson one way or another. I just do recall watching the footage of his galactic aircraft kind of going to kind of super mode when it really started blasting off, and I don't know what I would look like in his position, to be fair, but it was a pretty amusing sight to behold. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Wild Out says exactly real deal, Steven Steele. Someone else says agreed. I can't stop buying Doge. Hector the Dude says, Abstractus Artemis, could you imagine being fired over Zoom? Yeah, that's a tough way to go. That's a tough way to go, guys. Let's see here. How about this story? Are you familiar with the Babylon Bee, Sadaf?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, good. Okay. The Babylon Bee, for those of you who know, it's a parody website publication, so just please keep that in mind as I cover this one. But this one was, I don't know, this one literally made me laugh out loud when I came across it today. And it was a food review as written by a toddler in diapers. And the food review is ketchup, a complex, well-crafted culinary delight. And it's about 2 paragraphs long here, the review of ketchup written by this 4-year-old. And it says, I'm not usually very picky when it comes to what I'll put in my mouth, except when it comes to food. If I don't like the look of it or the smell of it, or if I'm just feeling I'm not getting enough attention, I will throw it. But there is one delicacy that I've discovered that almost I never toss, and that's ketchup. Is ketchup the perfect food? In my multiple years, I've certainly never encountered anything better. Tangy, sweet, beautiful color, a pleasing mouthful, also a pleasing faceful. When I spread it all over my face, my mother walks out of the kitchen. Now, I'll often eat it by myself, but it also combines so well with other foods. I've dipped so many things in ketchup: French fries, corn chips, pretzel sticks, blueberries, my sippy cup, and whatever's in reach from my high chair. That's why I demand ketchup now at every meal. If I'm ever seated to eat and there's no ketchup, I'll make my displeasure known. I am a connoisseur. I only want the best, and that means ketchup with everything. So just bring it on over and leave the bottle if you know it's good for you. I think that was more of a cute one than a funny one, but it is cute. It was cute. So, yeah, I like the Babylon Bee. There's another one that I saw here too. Some are a bit too edgy for me to cover and read, but I mean, one of them says President Biden announces he has natural immunity to the Constitution. That was an interesting one. Okay, but let's see here. So here we go. Jeff Bezos cannot get enough of obsessing over Elon and what is becoming an obvious severe case of rocket envy. This comes courtesy of Barron's. Amazon goes even further after Elon Musk's SpaceX and battle for space dominance. There's gold in them there stars, and there's a battle brewing between the galactic giants. Ooh, that's a pretty good opener. I usually kind of cringe at a lot of these journos openers, but that one's pretty good. That was pretty good. That one looks like it could read on like a movie promo. E-commerce web services Behemoth. Amazon objected again to plan by SpaceX to offer space-based internet service around the globe. Amazon has its own plans for a similar service. The battle pits between the world's two richest men, Bezos and Musk. SpaceX is launching hundreds of small satellites. The service dubbed Starlink already has more than 100,000 subscribers. Amazon wants to do the same, offer space-based internet service. It calls its project Kuiper, but doesn't have satellites yet in orbit. Okay, before you go any further, you can see what's going on here. Jeff Bezos' ego is extremely hurt, and Elon Musk has outflanked him at every step of the way in terms of both pace, adaptation, and advancement. So, plus, I'd rather, if I'm going to hear one of two corporations' names for the rest of my life added to our lexicon, I'd rather talk about Starlink than Kuiper. I don't know, just something about the word Kuiper. It rhymes with hyper. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I like Starlink better. It sounds very classic sci-fi, kind of like the movie, reminds me of the movie Contact or something. I like Starlink. I think most of the public would rather talk about Starlink than Kuiper. Secondly, and finally, Kuiper doesn't even have any satellites in space yet. Here, Starlink's already has, a few thousand of them in space. They're ready to go. And here, Jeff Bezos is consistently blaming Elon on, kind of, when you look at the complaints, they're very petty. They're very petty. It's kind of like akin to a tattletale in grade school, looks for any minor thing to get the other kids in trouble. That's what he's doing to Elon Musk right now. When you look at the charges he's trying to levy against him. And all he's trying to do is obviously hamper and slow down Elon Musk's progress in both his satellite internet servicing and space exploration across the board, so he can play catch up. So it's kind of projection, in my opinion. Jeff Bezos is accusing Elon of not playing fair, while at the same time he's trying to tie one hand behind Elon's back so he can just catch up to him. I don't know. The whole thing is just getting more and more desperate, in my opinion. What do you say, Sadaf?
What is it with these men and flexing? Honestly, they could achieve so much more if they worked together on something rather than all this rivalry. Yeah. But yeah, that seems to be the new thing for all these billionaires. How to get into space, how to have a better rocket.
Right. Yeah, and what was really interesting, speaking of which, I can't help but think of Jeff Bezos's rocket, right? We saw that thing. I mean, I tweeted out somewhere throughout the day yesterday. I said, one thing you can't take away from Jeff Bezos is he did send a giant dong into space as well as that rocket. So it's just interesting, though. That thing was the most phallic apparatus I think ever launched into the stratosphere. I mean, it had it was very detailed. Did you see the Blue Origin rockets enough?
Yeah, we had a whole show about it. Don't you remember?
Yes, I do. Yeah. It's all coming back to me now. Yes, we did cover that at fair length.
Yeah, I don't think those things are a coincidence. I think it's just them being them.
Someone says Jeff Bezos' rocket was designed after his personality. It's time for us to admit that our love and adoration for Musk puts us in the minority. 75% of the populace hates him. We are in the elite 25% that hate him. I don't know. I actually do think you have a point, but I don't think it's 75%. I would say the public, from what I've seen, is about it's about a 50-50 split from what I've seen. But I also like a good troll. So I'm kind of got big respect for decent trolling skills, and obviously Elon has it in spades compared to someone like Jeff Bezos. So let's see here. Is there any stories I missed? Oh yeah, this one, Sadaf. This comes courtesy of Cointelegraph. 17% of Australians now own crypto, totaling 8 billion between them. Bitcoin remains the most popular cryptocurrency in Australia, with 9% of Aussies currently holding it. 1 in 6 Australians now hold cryptocurrency. The total value of their holdings adding up to 8 billion, according to a recent survey. The full report of Finder Consumer Sentiment Tracker is posted online recently. It is a month ongoing survey of 1,000 nationally represented Australians conducted by Qualtrics. The most popular cryptocurrency in the country remains Bitcoin, with 9% of Australians currently holding it. 8% of Aussies indicated that they own Ethereum. 5% own Dogecoin, and Bitcoin Cash is held by 4% of the population. Researchers said they were surprised to find that 35% of respondents believe that Bitcoin will eventually be transacted more widely than a traditional currency, meaning that 1 in 3 Australians believe Bitcoin will take over from fiat currency by 2050. A proportion of Bitcoin's true believers grew 52% among Gen Z respondents. Additionally, 50% of all respondents indicated that they believe Bitcoin is a legitimate investment. Men were twice as likely as women. However, the trends favor women, with the proportion of crypto-owning women increasing from just 7% in January, while the population of men fell off from 29%. Those indicated that they had owned cryptocurrency. The largest proportion said that they did so to diversify their portfolios. 30%, one quarter, 24% of Aussie holders said they purchased crypto simply because of it going up. And this figure fell from 45% in January. Your thoughts, Sadaf? Is this in coordinates? Would you say this is pretty right on from what you're seeing?
Yeah, 100%. And the funny thing is, I feel like men withdraw it when they, generally they are the breadwinners, and if it's going down, they'll probably sell at a loss anyway. Whereas women, I think, have more time to research and just invest their own money.
Right.
But in saying that, you can see how new, it's still at its infancy stage here, because you're seeing people invest directly into Bitcoin despite the price hike right now, despite all that. I don't think they know fully yet that you could make a lot more gains in, for example, an altcoin in this part of the cycle, and then invest all of that into Bitcoin later on, in the bear market. So the fact that when it did hit the all-time high, it was worth about, I think, 82,000 Australian dollars. So it was, it was much closer to the 100K Aussie dollar here when Bitcoin was at its all-time high, and you still saw people investing in it at that point. And whether it was, a fraction of a Bitcoin, they were investing in Bitcoin, and that's when people don't know enough about the market to know that there are other stable coins and like altcoins that you can invest in and make a significant amount of money. So yeah.
Well stated. Sliding Edge come with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Sliding Edge. Bezos' Amazon Marketplace has a history of undercutting the vendors who sell there. That is true. Not a good ground to stand on. Calling out Elon, classic Bezos. Yep, hypocrisy is the greatest luxury. Sliding Edge coming again at $2. Thank you, Sliding Edge. Appreciate it. Big love for Sadaf. What's her Doge title? Yes, they love you here. I don't know if she has a Doge title. I don't know.
What's the Doge title?
Yeah, I'm not sure what her Doge. I'm not sure either. Maybe like a nickname, a Doge-centric nickname or something. I'm not quite sure.
Send you my Doge address.
Yeah, I can send. Yeah, she'll be glad to send you her Doge address. Right. Someone in chat says Sadaf is a natural Bitcoin investor, not a trader. She is clever and effectively knows the market in Australia. She is the Bitcoin Australian Queen. That's quite a title, Sadaf.
Wow, that's a very long title. Thank you.
The BTC Australian Queen. Wow.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Honestly, I've been looking for. I was waiting for these dips for a while, guys, because I got a little light on my Bitcoin that I felt more comfortable with, and just wanted to put some more in there for the long haul. So that's where my priorities were on this last dip. So I was honestly happy to see it to see it for my my benefit. Did I miss members chat last night? You guys did not miss members chat. My apologies. My throat got so sore from talking all the time. I just couldn't do it. So as I was queuing it up, I started to talk, and I'm like, my voice is so hoarse that I don't know, it just hurts so much from talking so much. I couldn't pull off the members only chats. So my apologies, guys. There will be many others in the future, I assure you. Zombie Doge Army coming with a $2 super chat. Just tip it $2 because Sliding Edge did. Well, I love it. I love it when you guys match each other. It's exciting. It's exciting stuff. So here we are. Go ahead.
Sorry, just on this topic, Stephen, I had a few people reach out to me last week. So just, some friends, some family about, they've been doing their research on crypto and what are some of the projects they should invest in. And, I've given them some really good ones. But then it always came back to, but don't you think I should put that money into Bitcoin? So, yeah, just to add on to the point I made earlier, there is so much more learning that needs to happen here for people to understand when the right time is to buy Bitcoin. Obviously, I'm constantly adding to mine at every dip, but also I've obviously gone very early, and for me, it's the spot trading that I do, everything kind of just goes back into Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP. But it's, you could tell someone that they could make 800% on a particular alt, and they'll still say, when they're new, they'll say, don't you think I should just put that on Bitcoin? And yes, even when Bitcoin makes its massive move, you might only make, on your $1,000 investment, you might only make $800, whereas you could make so much more investing into an altcoin. But I think it's the concept is so new to them, and then when they come in and they're being told to invest in things other than the father of it, that's when they're getting a little they're a little hesitant. So I think more than anything, this is why I push this so much, it's the education around the space, the awareness. It's so significant before people just get in and get wrecked and do all the wrong things. I just think we need so much more focus on that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Guys are just putting in the twos. I like it. Alan Schneider coming with the $2 super chat. Thank you, Alan. Good to see you. Abstractus Artemis doing the same as well, only because Zombie did. I like that because I could just keep going and going. Yeah, but to speak and dovetail off of what you're talking about there, I think that is really important. My sister, for example, brand new to crypto, made her first investments a few months ago in both Dogecoin and Ethereum. And then the market went bearish for a bit, and she was freaking out because she's new to it. So I did my advice to her was, and my advice would be to a lot of new investors, is pick out a few solid top tens, and then make your investments, and honestly, just forget about it. Just forget about it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's my advice to people. I always ask, how many years are you looking to invest? And it's so funny that generally when you talk about an investment with someone, whether it's a house or whether it's stocks, whatever it is, they're so open to the decade-long investment. But then when it comes to crypto, they're like, do you reckon I could make it back in a month? And I'd be like, are you serious? Like,
right.
Why don't you have the same investment mentality for this? It's not just a pump and dump. There's actual go and research the projects. And this is one of the reasons why I don't shill anything, and I never have, is because I feel like they think you've done the researching for them. And I think it's so important, and I will obviously emphasize on this if I ever do, is just go and do it yourself. And if it doesn't make sense to you, don't invest in it. If the project doesn't look good, I recently had a friend who reached out to me about an upcoming, I would call it a shitcoin, but it was in the agricultural space. And I went and did a few minutes of research. Like the Telegram had 40,000 members. It
Sure.
looked really strong. But what I realized was nothing about the devs. Obviously, that's always a red flag, but sometimes they are docs, but they're still anonymous. But in the chat, everyone was asking legitimate questions and nobody was responding. Like it was crazy. And I just thought, because he said to me, he goes, I just want to put in $150 and just see how it goes. And I said, you know what? Don't do it. This just seems really iffy to me. The project itself was great, but then there's so many other elements you need to make sure you research. And he didn't invest. And then the next day he messaged me and he goes, it just went up. I think it was, don't quote me, either 8,500% or 85,000%. It went up and I was like, I felt so bad, but it was a rug pull the next day. Like it was pretty quick. So I was like, oh, whatever. Like sometimes the thing is, you probably don't even get the chance to sell that stuff, before people have already dumped it and taken the bigger part of the liquidity. Right? So it's just not worth it. Do your research, ask the questions, make sure you're completely content with it, so that if it does go south, you need to hold some responsibility. You cannot blame others for that. And I always emphasize this about bigger accounts who shill projects and how unfair it is that we call it like a pump and dump, because you have to understand that big accounts, when they do shill, of course there's going to be a moment of a massive spike and then a massive downtrend, because like do the math. They're telling thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people to invest in something. Everyone does. It goes up naturally and then it comes back down. That is not a pump and dump. That is literally everyone being told the same thing at the same time. Either don't get in there, don't FOMO, go and do your research and maybe get in after it's, stabilized a little, or get in and shut the hell up. Like it's always going to happen. I feel like on Twitter, it's never fair, because if you don't tell people what to buy, like as a bigger influencer, you're called out for it. And if you do tell people to buy, you're called out for it. It's just not fair. But I think where it makes sense to see, an incline and a decline, you need to be able to decipher that yourself. You need to understand why that's happening. But it's the same as like in paid groups, they give you selling limits, but you'll notice, like if someone's told you to sell something, buy it at $1 and sell it at $2, you'll notice most of the sales come in at 196, 97, 98 and 99, and that's because people are getting smarter. But also that's not fair as well, because then you have such an influx and such a congested selling kind of area. It's just so important to do your own research. Try and figure out how these things work. Understand when to get in, when to get out. Majority of people that are left holding a bag right now are left holding it because they got in at the wrong entry point. It's not gambling. And I always say, when you're gambling, just shut up, take the L and hold the bag. But if you're not, then do it like diligently and make your money. Don't get greedy, take your profits, invest somewhere else. I don't know why the same thing doesn't apply here compared to every other investment. It's crazy. It's just crypto has become charity for some reason. Hello.
Sorry about that. I love what you said there, and I want to dovetail on that right after I get through these super chats, because while you were talking, a lot of super chats came in, so we're going to get to those. Alan Schneider, $2 super chat. Sliding Edge, $2 super chat. Let the super chat wars begin. Can you dig it? Yes, I can, my friend. Abstractus Artemis coming with a $1.99 super chat, only because Zombie Dish did. Dylan McDougal coming in with another $2. Jeremy Abbott coming in with a $5 super chat. Felt left out, he said. Thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate it. Alan Schneider coming in with another $2 super chat. Let the wars begin. Josh will start soon. LOL. And here it goes. Luminal with a $2 super chat with the Doge icons up there. I love it. Trucking All Day coming with a $2 super chat just because Alan did, you guys. Josh Rendell disavows stepping it up with a $10 super chat. Says, does Sadaf think we're going to have a classically bloody September? I believe this year will be much different than the past. Any thoughts on that, Sadaf?
Yeah, so I do think that we're going to test a few other support regions, but I don't think they're going to be the. And I have a few people that do agree with me. I don't think it's going to be the very slow crawl back up. I think it's going to be pretty fast. But I don't. What do you define as bloody? Like, how high did you get in? We're going to test these lower support regions. I think once we're finished getting back to the 50, and then I think we'll resume after maybe some sideways movement back to. I don't believe the run's over. So for anyone that doesn't agree with me, then we obviously have a difference in opinion. I haven't seen what I saw in 2017. I don't think it's been parabolic, and I do feel like what happened when we hit the all-time high was the Elon effect and all that FOMO. So I do think that we're yet to see, that Bitcoin actually putting in its all-time high. But in saying that, I just think people that are new in this space, you saw what happened that when we had the dip a couple of days ago and nobody could sell and all the exchanges were down and it was crazy. I just feel like if you've invested, and let's say you started investing in January and then you had an opportunity to load up on the dip. If you're not a trader, don't look at selling and then waiting for a dip and buying it. I think if you got in at a good price, do the math, understand that you're better off DCAing, put some more money aside, buy it when it does dip, and bring your average down, and you'll be in the same position as someone who bought the bottom, right? Because you're better off trying to get in at low prices that kind of stay there for a couple of weeks before resuming up than you are to try and sell in the chaos and the exchanges down and then try and get back in, if you haven't already set those buy limits and those sell orders. So just be very diligent with the way you do this stuff. There's so many people in it now. I do think that the cycles from here on are going to be very different because of the amount of people that are getting in, in corporations that are getting in, all of that. I think it's going to change, and I think you just need to, if you've got something that's worthy of, keeping until, like, let's say the end of cycle, or if it's a long-term investment, be smart and DCA down.
Yeah, right on, and wonderfully stated there. And wow, did the Super Chat wars really keep breaking out here. Another $10 from Dylan McDougal. Zombie Doge Army coming with a $2 Super Chat because trucking all day did. Thank you, Zombie Doge Army. Dylan McDougal then stepping it up with a $20 Super Chat. Thank you so much, Dylan McDougal, again. But it didn't end there, ladies and gentlemen. We have... I'm just kind of lost here. Oh, yeah. Now I'm finding my footing. Trucking all day coming in with stepping it up with a $50 Super Chat from Trucking All Day. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate your support of the channel and the community. I think there's a dip, Dylan. Calling it out. Trucking All Day coming in with big Doge energy with the $50 Super Chat. Dylan McDougal coming in with a big 100, a big Benny, guys. Dylan ain't playing around with a $100 Australian dollar Super Chat all the way over from the great down under where Sadaf is. Man of my word, who's gonna raise it? Who's gonna raise the 100 Aussie bucks? Thank you so much, Dylan McDougal. Just big Doge energy. I really appreciate you, Dylan. Thank you for your generous Super Chat.
Yeah, you guys might just get my Doge wallet address.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll just paste it in there for you now.
But by all means, feel free to send Sadaf some Dogecoins, guys. She's that'd be awesome. In fact, I'm gonna send you a few, Sadaf. I'm definitely gonna send you a few.
You know what's funny? I actually got in. Let me. I'll look at it for you. I got in because obviously I did a lot of trading from January on, but I got in on the 6th of February, and it was just under 6 cents Australian. And then I kept going until about the 8th of February. But then I was just lucky, and it goes back to my rule. I sell the news. So as Elon was preparing to get on SNL, I remember, and it was so funny because David Gokhshtein actually had a few what are those Twitter spaces that he was on, and they were just, it was a hype. Like everyone was just pumping it, and I think it got about to 90 cents Australian, and it, you know, they were just like, $1 is inevitable when he goes on that show. And I was like, you know what, I think it's time to sell, and luckily I did.
You're funny.
Because it nosedived after that.
Was this around Saturday Night Live or?
Sorry, yeah. Yeah, but then obviously since then, obviously with the dips, I have accumulated a little, but
right.
Yeah, just sell the news, guys. Sell the news. Sell your trading bag with the news, not your hold.
Then Sliding Edge came with a $2 super chat. Sadaf the Crypto Hunter, I like that. Sadaf the Crypto Hunter from Down Under gets 2 too. I like that. Then here comes Donna. Donna, I always mispronounce her last name, and I know you've corrected me before. I'm gonna take a stab at it. I think it's Tabucci. Donna Tabucci. I see her on Twitter all the time. Just a tremendous supporter of the community. She is awesome. Thank you so much, Donna. Showing support. Thank you for all the Doge info. You're very welcome, Donna. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to bring you that Doge-centric content. And thank you so much for your generosity and your presence, Donna. You rock. You are awesome. That is big, you guys. Thank you so much. This is awesome. This is just really, I hugely appreciate the support from the Steele Army coming through big tonight. I love it. Thank you so much. And you know, your man can definitely dig it. Alan Schneider coming in with a $2 super chat. Texas Doge. Just giving you a big Texas Doge. I know a few of you are waiting for me to say Texas, so gotta serve it up for you guys. Maybe I should make some Texas Toast NFTs. You heard Robinhood add new crypto feature. You can buy Dogecoin by doing daily, weekly, monthly. It helps people learn dollars cost average Steven Steele. Yep, I did hear that. I actually think it's a pretty cool feature, particularly for noobs. I think it could be very advantageous. And let's see here. Have a good one, guys. You too, Yem Grunt. We are watching. All right. Low roller. Yeah, I got that message earlier. I almost read it twice. A chat's so nice you had to type it twice. Yeah, wow, look at that. We've got a hundo from Dylan, a hundo from Donna, and 50 from Truckin' All Day. Abstractus keeping things going with a $2 super chat. The best way to keep Steven live. No lie detected, my friend. No lie detected. We'll overtime live for super chats. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Let me get to this next article here, and we'll just keep an eye on the chat. In the meantime, a Bitcoin tipping on Twitter, a game changer for crypto adoption? Question mark through Cointelegraph. The fact that Jack Dorsey has time and time again showcased his support for Bitcoin suggests that a Bitcoin tipping jar may be in the works for Twitter. Amid all the recent price vitality seen by Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market, news and social media behemoth, Twitter reportedly is getting ready to enable a Bitcoin tipping for content creators went relatively unnoticed. So there's a really long article here. I just don't feel it's necessary to read it, but I do think it's necessary to talk about it. Josh Randell, speaking of something to talk about, Josh Randell coming in large and in charge with a $50 super chat. Thank you so much. Look at these bright colors coming on the screen, on the scene, if you know what I mean. I love it. Love the Steele Army. No place I'd rather be on a fine evening like this. We're going to make a massive crater on the moon, my friends. Believe it. Believe it.
Happy birthday, Miles.
All right. Happy birthday to Miles G. Miles G, how come you didn't tell me it was your birthday? We were texting back and forth today about DogeX. Miles G, another spokesman for the DogeX NFT line. And we were talking about that earlier today. We're both super excited about the progress DogeX has made, and the way things are just looking really, really nice, really bullish. Miles G, happy birthday, Miles G. Happy birthday to you. I hope you're enjoying your birthday with, I don't know, maybe a lady, or maybe it's just your dog. What is his Shiba's name? It's eluding me right now. Floki, I think, but I could be wrong there. Right now, it's my birthday. That's why. Oh, so you mean it literally technically just became your birthday at midnight, your time, Eastern Standard. Miles G, an hour ahead of where I'm at, and Sadaf like a half a day difference for where she's at. So big happy birthday to Miles G. We love Miles G here at the Stephen Steele community. Big, big, big happy birthday. So, Sadaf, yep, I got it there. I kind of wanted to dovetail back to what we were talking about before, where I really liked what you're saying there. You're essentially, there seems to be a lot of misunderstanding in you'll see it in certain kind of bitter pockets of cryptocurrency. Folks that don't really seem to know the difference between a rug pull and just pretty typical volatility within a token or a project, right? And so to automatically kind of default to a rug pull is I think it does a disservice, where it kind of gets people, first of all, it gets people frothing at the mouth over things they shouldn't be frothing at the mouth over necessarily. And not, of course, if something's truly and genuinely a rug pull, they should be called out. In my opinion, they should be prosecuted. And doxed if at all possible. But if you're just talking about a new project where people are aping in, and then it has a considerable spike, and then it levels off or takes a pretty nice dive before leveling off, that's not a rug pull. That is just market volatility. And so people need to take accountability for their own investment decisions instead of just blaming influencers or just blaming one person. This is the risk you're going to incur when you go into tokens, particularly, which are going to be, like I said, you're more than welcome to risk it for the biscuit in the token market. I do with a small slice of my investment money, but I also understand it's high risk, high reward. Okay, so just understand that's the game you're playing, and don't blame it on everyone else. Take accountability for your own decisions. And if you lose out on a couple $100 because of that, that's just how it goes sometimes. In fact, Sadaf, you and I experienced a little one like that recently, didn't we?
And Miles just mentioned it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I got a little. I got a little tip that I thought things were going to be looking good on a token. I threw a little money in it, and it just bottomed out. Yeah, but I already knew that was the game that I was playing, and it is what it is. So, you guys, what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to put Sadaf's Dogecoin wallet in the chat. If anyone would like to help bulk up Sadaf's Dogecoin wallet, I'm going to invite you to do that. Sadaf, I am going to be sending you over some Dogecoin firsthand myself for sure. So if anyone wants to send Sadaf over some Dogecoin, feel free. because she's just a lovely guest, and she's just really, I just love having her on. And we need to get her Dogecoin up. She doesn't have much Dogecoin. I would love to see Sadaf being more of a deeply invested Dogecoin holder. Let's see here. We've got Miles G coming in with a $5 super chat. Love you, bro. Love you back, Miles G. We love you here. Miles G coming in again. $5 super chat. Upcoin wasn't a rug pull, just a healthy correction. Yeah, right. Sliding Edge coming in with a $5 super chat. Does Titan count as a rug pull? Attack of Titan. Poor Mark Cuban. I don't know enough about the Titan situation. I remember looking at it when it first went down and transpired. It certainly looked like one. But it'd be irresponsible for me to say with all certainty for sure that's what it was. But I remember glancing at it, and on the surface it appeared to me that Titan particularly probably was. Zombie Doge Army, $5 super chat, just because it's Miles G birthday. A Miles G birthday super chat, 2 miles from Zombie Doge Army. I love it. I love the energy, big energy in the chat tonight. I love it. I can dig it. And this is Steele Army in full effect. Dylan McDougal coming with 5 Aussie bucks. Happy birthday, Miles, the investment God, the investment god. Yeah, Miles G, those of you who aren't familiar, has got a very successful cryptocurrency channel, much larger channel than mine. And he's also has a Patreon group where he makes calls and things like that. And he's got a very active community himself. And he's also a big fan of Steven Steele Live. And became a friend of mine. Alan Schneider coming in with a $2 happy birthday super chat for Miles. A lot of happy birthday well wishers for Miles up in here tonight. Somebody said, send Doge to Sadaf, said she would use those for charity purposes. Do not say, but they have a big heart, so let's send them money for charity. You know what? It wouldn't even matter it wouldn't even matter to me right now. It wouldn't even matter to me if Sadaf used her Doge for charity or new shoes or just holding. I don't even care. I think she deserves more Doge, and that's why I got it pinned at the top of the chat. In case anyone wants to send her a little Doge, I'll be sending her some as soon as I'm not multitasking and live streaming over here. Definitely.
You know what's funny? Someone was telling me to swap over my cold wallet storage and get a Ledger Nano and whatever, but we were having a conversation. They said, oh, you know what, you've got to hold this very close to your heart, like you have to hold it with your phone wherever you go. And I said, yeah, around the house, that's where I'm going. I don't have anywhere to go. Just walking around with my Ledger Nano in my hand around my lounge room.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty limited. Your options are pretty limited over in the great down under, isn't it? I mean,
it's limited. You know, I built a really cool gym in my garage. I'm still waiting for a few of the weights to come in, but I tried to do so much to keep myself entertained and distracted, but it is reaching its peak now. It's getting very boring. I think more so without the human contact. Like you need your family around. You need people around.
Oh yeah, I mean we are social. We are a social species. I mean we do not do well if we are not socializing. I mean this channel is a quintessential example of that. People need to be social. People need to be mixing it up with each other, and Australia is a place where it's increasingly more difficult to do that, but that's why we find other outlets, online and such, to stay connected, and that's very important. Let's see here, guys. I just got a tip, and I'm just putting this out there. I'm not trying to FUD this project. I'm simply doing this in the interest of anyone who's potentially invested in the Shiba Inu token project. I'm getting some very strong, and like I said, I'm not doing this to FUD the project, but I just got some word, and I just checked it out myself. I'm getting very strong signals that the SHIB token looks like it's about to really tank. So if you're invested in SHIB, I don't know at what point you may have gotten in. You might want to, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying I'm seeing some really disturbing signs there. So you might want to just at least check the charts and keep a close eye on it. I just don't want to see anyone that's invested in SHIB completely eat it. Okay, so just keep a really close eye on it.
Can I just say that I spent so many months, like since December 2020, telling my friends and family to invest in coins like, Matic and ADA and nobody did any of that. But then Shiba gets listed on Binance and CoinSpot, and they're all buying the green.
I know, and it's going to be on Coinbase too. I can't believe they're going to be on Coinbase, but they're right now. It's looking really rough for SHIB. Just be careful. Be careful. In fact, Sadaf, you might want to send out a few texts if anyone that is invested.
Honestly, I'm sick of holding people's hand. Like, just maybe honestly, the best lesson in crypto is to just lose some.
Yeah.
Why would you buy green? Like, that's the first rule, right? Like, just don't buy it. Don't buy it on its way to the top. Just don't do it. Doesn't matter how great you are. Unless you're scalping and you're extremely experienced, don't do it. And that's exactly what they do. I don't know if people. It's a very, very interesting psychological trait that people have. That they are more like they're easily convinced to do that in the actual hype and the FOMO, but they won't do it when you're telling them like a list of all the benefits of a project, what it's actually doing, what it's going to achieve by different time, different points in time. You're giving them a forecasted kind of overview, and they don't absorb any of that. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's a super dangerous game to play when you're new to crypto and you're trying to make those kind of plays. Wow.
I heard about Bitcoin in 2010, right? And I was like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Sorry for the language, but I was like, this is so stupid. And I was so young then, and all I cared about was, I was working a cash job while going to uni, and I just finished school, and I was like, I just want to buy a convertible. And I went and bought this stupid, secondhand convertible just so I could ride in a convertible.
Right.
And I ended up having an accident and almost killed myself like the day after. I lost everything. It wasn't insured. Couldn't go back to uni. Lost everything. I paid it out in cash. It was horrific. And then I heard about it again in 2014. I was like, why does this thing keep coming up? But again, in saying that, nobody explained it to me the way I needed it to be explained to me so that I could actually have a vested interest in it. So 2014 didn't go too well as well. But then 2017, it was a very close colleague of mine, like literally like a brother. And he could tell me to jump off a bridge and I'd probably do it. But he just said, you need to buy either Bitcoin, Ripple, well, XRP, and Ethereum. He goes, don't ask me why, just put some cash on it and just leave it there. And it was just one of those, like, I was like, but you have to help me go through these. I don't know what to do with these exchanges, and how do I verify myself, and whatever. Like, that was an entire process. He sat with me, held my hand throughout the entire thing, and then just told me to leave it there and forget about it. And then, I did watch the great, the parabolic run, and I was like, oh my God, this is the easiest money I've ever made. And then boom, it went down. I watched that too. And then I just logged off, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. Like, I've invested. I'm not going to FOMO out of it. And that's when I started learning about it. I got heaps of people, like family, to invest in it. Didn't really know what I was talking about back then, but then obviously it started making a lot more sense. But sometimes it literally just takes that. Like, someone just really needs to explain it to you properly, someone that you trust. And if you're investing, just leave it in there and forget about it. Like, I honestly forgot my password to two of the exchanges that I was on. Just forget about it. And if you're not, then go and learn how to trade it and do it effectively.
Yeah, really well stated. Really well stated there. Dylan McDougall says Doge community is strong. Stephen Steele, final stand. Miles G Investments. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Speaking of which, I believe I saw Matt Wallace himself, aka Final Stand, in the chat just a moment ago. If he's still around, Matt, if you want to just give a call, you want to just call in, I'll put you on speakerphone. We could talk for a few minutes about DogeX or whatever you want. Just let you know, or you can hang out in the chat. We can do another time. I'm flexible. Whatever you want to do, my friend. But good to see you stopping by. Good to see you stopping by. Let's see here. Ramon. Sorry, I didn't know when I know you snuck in somewhere along the night. Sliding Edge come with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Sliding Edge. Really appreciate it. Sheeb has Shiv tendencies on your wallets. Yeah, be careful with Sheeb right now. Sheeb looking extremely volatile right now. So just be careful. Any of you guys that are currently invested there. Let's see here. How about SafeMoon? Someone asks. You know what? I'm not even going to touch SafeMoon because I'll tell you why. I've got people that are people that are fans of mine that are deeply invested into that community. I'll just say this. I'm not a fan of SafeMoon, but at the same time, I don't want to waste any time throwing shade at it or stirring up any contentions there, because I do know some good people that are involved in the project. So it's just not for me. I'm just going to leave it there. You heard SafeMoon developers resign today. No, I did not hear that. I'm tempted to speculate on that, but I'm just not going to do it. So I wish the best for all investors involved in that project. Okay. I'll just leave it at that.
I made a lot of money on that, but I sold it literally in 20 hours.
Yeah, I was invested for a short period, early-ish on, and then I flipped it and moved on. So kind of similar experience with me. But I wouldn't say I made a lot of money, but I made a little cake there.
Yeah, about 10.
Okay. Yep. Haven't seen many tweets about it. Yeah.
You know what though? With SafeMoon, when you're doing your due diligence on people on the project, you normally go and research who they are on like LinkedIn, and they were all like really esteemed, top notch.
Right. Yeah. I just encountered some very unpleasant, hostile personalities from that community at a particular window. But you know what? I also know some really great people involved in it, and that really want to see it work. So, I just don't want to rain on those people's parade. I just don't want to do it. So it's not. Listen, I'm just going to talk about the things that I want to talk about in terms of things that I'm excited about, the things that I think are great investments. Those are the things I'm going to talk about. Put it that way. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, look, you're not the first though. There were a few Twitter spaces early in the days that I joined, and people were hammering each other. They have a very committed little community, just like Doge, and they will fight. So yeah, let's just stay out of their business.
Yeah, what were they going at it about?
Well, actually, it was on David's Twitter space again
today.
And no, it was a while ago, but it was just about. I think David brought up the fact that when you're selling, you know how they had the 10%, 5% to the burn, and they're just talking about how that's basically essentially just adding tax, and crypto's trying to remove, these taxes, and what they were doing was almost a setup for introducing tax into the crypto space again, and they were just fighting it. I think David was making a few legitimate points, and he was saying as a crypto investor, we just want to stay the hell away from, what the current financial system. And by doing this, although you think you're doing it for the benefit of the holders and, the new buyers, but you're doing a disservice to the people moving away from traditional financial economies. And but they were fighting it. They were saying, no, that's not it. That's not what we're doing. And we're doing this for... But like, they have a very committed community, and they will fight till the end. Like, it's crazy. And I think at the end, it almost became like they started picking on, like they were making personal attacks, and that's when you're like, I'm just going to tune out. You don't have any data kind of backing what you're saying. They picking on my appearance. That's just stupid.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that confused me with David G. I actually used to sit on some of his panels as a speaker. And then he was actually on the show here one night. We had a great time months ago. But then he I don't know if you know, since then he became like pro Safe Moon, like 180 to like overnight. And then
what?
No, I'm serious. And then my head was like spinning, and then I was kind of like, and then we just kind of fell out of touch after that. It's just, I don't know.
Actually,
I don't know how sad.
And his following went up like 300K since I started following him a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I think I think one of the days when I joined a Twitter space, I had like 400 followers out of nowhere, because I actually got on and spoke. But in his defense though, he kept saying to them, if you could just dumb it down, explain it to me, and make it make sense to me, I will be a bit more lenient. I'll understand it. I may even invest. He did say that from the start, but the problem was the diehard fans almost didn't care about that, and they were just like arguing their points and not trying to. I think the difference between the communities here is like with Doge, people would admit that it doesn't do anything, but like we love it. There's mass adoption, and it's going somewhere, right? Whereas they weren't doing that. They weren't explaining it. Some people even jumped on and said, yes, there is utility, and, but couldn't back it. And I think that's all he was asking for. He was literally asking for someone to explain it, and then he'll be okay with that.
Yeah. I like I said, I just heard so many different opinions from him, like in a short amount of time on that specifically. And I'm not taking sides on it. I was just left with my head spinning. Comment to Luffy coming in with a $2 super chat. Yo, what's good, Steele fam? Hi, Sadaf. No zombie. No zombie?
I think he means I am a zombie because I hardly sleep.
Oh, right. Got it. Abstractus Artemis says, I'll buy some Doge with what I just sold my sheep for. Honestly, I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, but I think that is, seems pretty sound to me. Matt Wallace just destroyed Shiba. Oh, okay. He must have, that's interesting, because he must have literally just came over to this chat like right when he was done from his own live. So that's interesting. Yeah, I'm sure she's never heard that before, dude. I'm sure she's never heard that before. Anyway. Yeah, it's interesting, all this stuff. I think what I like about you is we're both, you're pragmatic like I am. And I like that you're you don't really fall privy to a lot of the extreme positions that some of the factions within crypto you see, where there's factions of people that they kind of default. It's a very small but a very obnoxious faction of people in crypto that everything's a scam, and I'm going to be a self-appointed, like our arbiter of truth and like a warrior, and I'm going to tell you what time it is, and I'm going to call these people out. And it's just like, most of the time, these are people that don't really understand what a rug pull is, what qualifies it. And it's like, dude, you're in crypto. Crypto is volatile. It's all risky. It's all risky. Like you explained earlier, I thought you did a really good job at explaining a volatile project that's being pumped. Now, if you're smart about playing that pump game, well, there's a lot of concentrated interest in it. You can make out pretty well if you don't get too greedy and just take some gains and keep it moving, right? But
honestly, yeah.
But you know what? No one's guaranteed success in crypto. Nobody's guaranteed it. Okay, so this is when it's very important that we take self-accountability, right? Self-accountability, I think, is important. And that way you don't get so butthurt about your own L's. Guys, I've had my share of L's in my investments. You know, I've definitely lost my ass on some things. And I just picked myself back up and was like, you know what, I risked for the biscuit. I will say this, though, in my defense, I've won much more than I've lost since I've been involved in cryptocurrency. And my portfolio is always in solid green. It's always in solid green. But on my way to achieving that, I definitely have made some missteps, and I will continue to make some missteps. And I'm not going to like cry foul every time this happens. To me, it kind of reminds me of, it's one of the things it's one of the main reasons why I've never been a huge soccer fan. It's like, I see these professional soccer players and they like fake getting hurt. And then they put on this huge production about it. You see these guys, you know what I'm talking about? Well, where somebody will, like a player from an opposing team will kind of get close to them, and then they'll fake an injury, and then they'll make a huge production out of it and cry and like try to get the ref involved. This sort of thing. I don't find this thing very commendable. The same kind of applies to investments. If you took an L, if you inquired, or if you've gotten an L for one of your investments, just, like, man up and take your L and keep it moving, right? And learn your lesson. Even when you go through stuff like that, it's not entirely a wasted experience. There's something you learned, right? Something you learned. I'm sure there's red flags to look for going forward, right?
Josh, did you see what he wrote?
Who did?
He's like, talk to me when you sold 540 BTC in 2010, LOL. I would have probably called you crazy if you kept it up until now. Like, majority of people did, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Zombie Doge Army. If you could unhide, I know you're trying to do a good job, but if you could unhide Abstractus, he's a good community member. He's a member. I just don't want him. Banned from the channel because he's a good dude. So I'm sure there's this. I'm just going to chalk it up to a misunderstanding there. We want to keep everything cool here. We want to keep everything cool. But I appreciate you keeping an eye on things, just the same. I will put money in on Shiba Inu in case Shibu goes to 1 cent. Yeah, man, that's your prerogative. Listen, I'm not trying to come across heavy-handed and telling, like I've said, I'm not trying to FUD the project. I was just looking at the information I was getting, and it looked real gnarly, man. So, yeah. Let's see here. Buy more Doge Pi is now the time for job CPI come out. Yeah, yep. Let's see what else is going on. Someone else said they traded $60 a sheep for Digibyte. Yeah, I've talked about Digibyte in the past, and I know that there's a few folks that are pretty bullish on Digibyte here in the community. I'm not invested in Digibyte, but I have checked it out. It does seem to have some pretty decent utility to it, and so it looks decent to me. Digibyte looks decent to me. Zombie Doge Army said, hit phone accidentally. No worries. I driving didn't mean to. No worries. Thank you for clearing that up, Zombie Doge Army. Steven Steele, I'm the reigning champ of bad investments, bro. Josh Randell disavows. You know what, guys? Where the money is made is patience. Patience is where the money is made. Pick out some solid coins with solid utility, with an active community, and just let that stuff ride. In fact, I've said in the past, if you're overwhelmed with the landscape, the vast landscape of cryptocurrency and all the options being presented to you, you could literally just cut out all that noise and just put money in Bitcoin, put money in Ethereum, put some money in Doge, and just forget about it. Just keep it simple, stupid. You could just literally do those things and not do anything else, and there's a very high probability that your future self will thank you in about 3 years. What do you say, Sadaf?
Yeah, 100%. And I think the patience applies to even when you're entering like a short scalp, right? Or whatever it is. I think people expect things to happen almost the second after they've entered a trade. Like you could see something testing support and it's about to break out. They'll enter and get the panties in a bunch because it hasn't hit the next target almost immediately, right? Like all of this is patience. And I think majority of the health issues come when you have those expectations and you're sitting in front of a screen and it's not happening instantly for you. I think you just need to just calm down. Patience in all trades, whether it's a long-term hold, whether it's your trades, your scalps, just relax.
Right. Yeah, just relax, because it's so many times. By the way, I think I missed a super chat. Let me scroll up here. Jonathan Marino, sorry, my friend. Sometimes it'll take me a bit to get to a super chat. I'll overlook it temporarily, but I will say this on my behalf. I always get to them. So if you're wondering if I'm not going to get to it, I always get to them. So thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Doge to Mars. Yes. The good thing is about once we get to the moon, it doesn't stop there, friends. Then the next stop is Mars. Luna will follow Solana. I think that's actually a potentially fair statement. I'm actually more bullish on Luna than Solana personally. Right now, I'm just taking care of securing more capital for myself before I put any more investment into crypto in general. But Luna is a sleeping giant. I agree with that. I personally agree with that. I think Luna's got mad potential. So yeah, I like Luna personally. Let's see. I think we're caught up on what's going on in chat there. Who Miles G? It's his birthday right now. Final Stand came in and said, "What's going on?" The DogeX team. For those of you who aren't familiar, the DogeX team is, aside from the devs and the artists and the mods in the respective discords and whatnot, we've got obviously Matt Wallace on board. We've got Miles G on board. We've got Matt Davis on board, if you're familiar with him. We got CEO Investments on board. And we've got, I know I'm missing one other person who's eluding me. Of course, Matt's girlfriend Diana's on board. And so we're just really having a good time, just blowing this thing up. And there's just a lot of enthusiasm and people are having a good time minting all these new NFTs, and the Discord's really a lot of fun energy there too. So I'm just and there's like the roadmap's really awesome, and I'm looking forward to all of the Ethereum Dogecoin bridging going on in the metaverse there. There's just a lot of fun stuff planned. I got a little bit of Solana, but I don't have a lot, and I only got in recently. There. Do you own any Solana, Sadaf?
Yeah, I was actually really lucky. I got about 22 of them back when they were $15.
No way.
Yeah, I actually made a post the other day. I got in, I will tell you exactly when. First purchase was March 23rd, and it was $20.97 Australian, which would have been around $15 US. And it was just honestly, that one was something that I bought. So it was $497 that I invested for 23 of them. And it was a profit from another trade that I just put into this, and I let it sit there, didn't touch it. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So what caused you to make that move to Solana when you did?
Look, I've spoken about Lisa here before, and it was one that she had put up, and did the research, and it looked really good. Like, but most of the ones that if anyone was following her back in January, you'd easily be a millionaire by now, like a multi-millionaire if you invested in some of the things that she put out there. I think one of my biggest screw-ups was Engine. I had bought a lot of that when it was, I believe, 14 cents. When I'm talking like a couple of 100,000, like it was a lot. And I sold it at, I think it was like 30 cents, and it went up crazy. Like that would have been an easy, few 100,000 for me. But she has some awesome coins that she recommends. Ava was another one. Travala. So that was like they've already got some awesome partnerships going in the travel industry, and I got in that pretty low as well.
Sure.
Actually very low. So she has, like, if you're not following her, just follow her. She lets people know. Just get in at the right time. But I did not expect Solana to go this high. I was not expecting this at all, but it was because it was one of the ones where I just took a profit from another trade and just dumped it on another project. I don't normally look at those. I just leave it. But I mean, if I had known the full potential, I probably would have invested properly in it.
But do you think Solana is a bubble?
Look, I haven't actually researched that much about it, and I don't think it's a bubble. I think it's given the support and some of the foundations that they have. I don't know if I would call it a bubble, but I also wouldn't, like, I don't think anyone expected it to be this crazy, right? And that stuff is sometimes just luck. Like, you could be reading a chart as much as you want, but all of this ultimately comes down to luck sometimes. Just another one that I was looking at, Stephen, I wonder if you got into this, but this was another Lisa one. It was Audiocoin. Did you get into that?
I did not get into Audiocoin, no. I remember looking at it. So I got into audio at the start of February, and it was about 20 cents. But again, it was just profits from another trade. Only had 1,000, but that went up to, I think it probably went up to, what was the highest? About $4. And getting in at 25 cents, like, pretty good. But I think they have an awesome use case, and I think, if artists did start adopting that, and they'd be really taking control of their, of everything that they do, rather than relying on everybody else, which is currently the case. So it's almost like a shift in everybody's interests, right? And you mentioned earlier that a country's currency is very important, but who's to say that they can't create their crypto version of their currency, right? Right.
Yeah, so I think what it's doing for the artists, I wouldn't invest in it now. It's not investment advice at all, financial advice rather. But I think what they're doing for it is cool. So they'll get benefits from their streams, and it's really a shift in the power.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's really well stated there. Luna. Yeah, guys, I am bullish on Luna. The only reason why I don't have more money, I would be putting more money in Luna right now, personally. not financial advice, financial fried rice, as my friend Crypto Batman would say. But the only reason why is because I just need to say I need to build more capital right now. I just can't be. I just got to focus on building my capital and making sure all my everything else is secured before I put more money into crypto. But that if I felt comfortable putting more capital into crypto now, Luna is one of them where I'd put it in, and I'd probably beef up my Matic more too, and I'd keep. Listen, I mean, you can't go wrong in my opinion between Dogecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. If I had 20K right now to just put into cryptocurrency, I'd probably just play it safe and divide it among. What I would do, I would put a little bit. I'd definitely put some in Luna and Matic, and I'd put the rest, the majority of it, between Doge, ETH, and Bitcoin. Personally, that's what I would do. So let's see here. I'm just looking to see what's going on in the chat. Guys, if you have any questions for Sadaf and I, feel free to just throw them in the chat. I'm definitely at the end of my notes and my news that I wanted to share with you guys. So I'll give it a few more minutes to see if you guys have anything else to say, anything else to add, or something you want to ask my esteemed guest or myself. But yeah. Taking a breather here.
Yeah, you need that sometimes.
Yeah.
Particularly your voice.
I know my throat lately has been just kind of letting me know that maybe I can't keep up this almost every night of the week thing, you know?
You need like you probably need someone else to do the talking for you.
I honestly don't know. That's why I need consistent co-hosts. Firstly, it really does help. Tim H, that's an interesting question. Steven Steele, at what age did you start shaving your head? Let's see. Think about my age now. Probably about 12 years ago. I guess I started shaving my head. And the first time I shaved my head, I was shocked. But then I realized I really liked it. And it took me only about a day to realize that. And I woke up, I looked in the mirror next day, I'm like, that looks pretty badass. I like it. so I just kept it. Steven Steele has a didactic radio voice. And that, guys, thank you for that. I actually made a short video clip so you can see that I'm real. I posted it's like a 1 minute video talking about Dogecoin on this channel. So if you want to check that out, you can actually see me moving on camera. So I am going to incorporate a little bit more of a video presence interspersed with the podcast stuff on both Twitter and YouTube. It is not my desire to be on camera all the time, just because of the nature and duration of content that I make. I just feel more comfortable this way. But I will be interspersing now my content with some video stuff. Steven has a beautiful skull. Thank you, Josh Randolph. Can we get Sadaf to make such a video? You're like, yeah, I don't care about what you look like, dude. Who cares? You're making videos. Yeah, whatever. Can Sadaf make videos?
You know, I always said that I would start doing videos if I ever launched my own channel.
Yeah.
But it just seems like I'm probably not going to launch my own channel, and eventually I need to get on video for one of the channels that I work with. But yeah, maybe she could. Why don't you wait till lockdown's over so I could, I don't know, at least get my hair done? You got to understand, it's been 3 months without a lot of work.
What?
Well, it's almost 3 months.
You haven't gotten your hair done in a salon for 3 months?
No, like everything's closed.
Wow.
You're not allowed. Beauty industry's all closed. I kind of attempt my own eyebrows, but That's very interesting.
Wow.
But yeah, everything else that you'd normally do, like, it's just out the window.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are never doubted you, Steven Steele. Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people inferred that I was not real, that I was like a catfish using another man's avatar. That was a pretty common allegation that I would get from people that weren't familiar with me.
It's so strange. It's so strange because I constantly got that I was a man or a bot when I first started as well. Well, when I first started going hard with crypto related stuff on my Twitter, like that was every second message, like just. But now when I speak to people, there are like a lot of these bigger accounts that pose as females that everyone in the industry kind of knows aren't. And that's just funny. I had no idea that stuff happens.
Yeah, that's the reason why that happens to you is, well, firstly, because you're easy on the eyes, Sadaf, but secondly, because there are so many catfish profiles posing as pretty women, specifically in crypto, for whatever strange reason. I think it's probably because these profiles are either it's like an easier way for them to get traction, number one, and number two, to possibly scam people out of transactions, scam men out of transactions. So I think it's a combination of the two from what I've seen. I've actually seen profiles get good traction in the Doge community posing as an attractive woman. And then I've taken that profile picture and I put it through the image finder and I'm like, oh, this is just like they just lifted this from like a model, someone else's model portfolio, And yeah, so I've definitely caught people that already had established followings and in the act of doing just that. So that's why that's happened to you. But now that you're more established and people know that you're real, you are who you say you are, does it happen less?
Well, I don't really check the messages that much anymore, the ones that don't come through. But yeah, it's a person that I had some suspicion about was, I don't know if you guys know, there's an account called Nina FX.
Okay.
And everyone keeps telling me that is a man, and I just, like, when I see the content is a lot of hype. So it's always if you had $1,000, what would you buy? Or, Ada's going to melt faces. And so I eventually just blocked her because it was becoming like a little overwhelming because a few people were tagging me and telling me that, we look alike and that we should work together. And I was like, oh my God, if this is a man, this is just weird. But yeah, no, like I honestly watch some accounts like literally open up and it'll just be like a profile picture of, and it's heavily, like it's like almost a pornographic shot. And then that account has like 4,000 followers within a week. It's crazy. So I don't know. People invested in crypto are really concerning me.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I actually posed a question on Twitter just yesterday. I posed a poll, and this is actually a good time to talk about this and read those poll results. I thought it was an amusing but valid poll and question. And that was this. I said, where do you think, or where will you find the most thirsty dudes? A, the crypto community. B, the gaming community. C, the comic book community. And there's kind of neck and neck between crypto and gaming. And I honestly don't know the answer to this. But I could see, I'm leaning more gaming. Overall, I think the tenure of dudes in the crypto community is, I would say it skews more polite versus comparatively to what I see in the gaming community. But who knows? It's, and then there's another meme that I posted in relation to this where this is a bit spicy, a bit edgy one, guys, but it's that classic guy girl texting each other back and forth, and the girl says, so how did you get a big following on Twitter? And the guy texts back, oh, I became one of the best video game players on the planet, and I also helped design rockets for SpaceX. And then she texts back, cool. So how do I get a big following on Twitter? And then he just texts back, post lots of selfies. Oh man, yeah, it's a little spicy, but
I do remember the first picture of myself that I uploaded. Like, I literally upload whatever the hell I want, like whenever the hell I want.
Yeah.
And it was probably the only time my page got a bit of negativity, because it's pretty positive, the page. Like, I make sure I get rid of all that stuff.
Yeah.
And generally there's like in a post that has like 1,000 likes and comments, there'll only ever be like one. And I saw an influx of, really, well, they look like burner accounts, but people just saying, oh, crypto's bearish the moment chicks start posting selfies. Like, I have no idea what the is. But also I think I read a comment about, oh, you must be new here posting selfies. And I was like, show me your wallet.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely not a noob. You're definitely not a noob to this space. Tim H coming in with a $5 super chat. Steven's yawning. He needs a super chat recharge. $2 from Steve. You guys are so funny, man. $2 super chat from Sliding Edge. Steele caffeine shot. I like how it's like the super chats are treated like I'm coin operated. It's like ding, clap. Oh, that's so funny.
Me fuel.
Yeah. Just give me Steele fuel.
That's it.
Steele fuel. Just ask her for some hair, Josh. How hard would it be to obtain Sadaf's DNA and clone her?
Who said that?
Josh Randall. Probably pretty difficult.
Still waiting for my Josh.
Damn.
No ADA, no DNA.
Hey, that's fair. That's funny. Entertain us, Stephen. Okay, I'm going to start clapping like a monkey, you guys, with the, what are those? The symbols. Let's see here, guys. Let's see what's going on in chat.
Can I just say, though, every time I've had hate, like, on my page, I've always, I'm never rude. I'll always ask the person, like, who hurt you? Or, I love you too, or I'm praying for you. I'm always really nice.
I'm not.
And I just never argue back. Like, you cannot bring me down to that level and make me fight with you. Like, I'm probably like the master of like silent treatment and just deflecting stuff. But I had a few people like reach out to me like for projects and some crypto projects, some like exciting stuff happening, and every single one of them, like, as tempting as it was to sometimes just tell someone to go get effed, every single one of them mentioned, like, in the initial conversations that, oh, look, the reason we're like really interested in partnering with you is because you just have a very almost like a PG, like a G-rated rather, presence online. Like, you don't react to these things, and that's kind of what we want to see in the community. It was like probably the first time being extremely well-mannered kind of paid off. Because people just don't want to see this, like, the fighting back and forth. Like, you just can't help sometimes with some of the things people write to just retaliate. But then, like I always tell people, like, I'm really trying to get good with the Lord. Don't tempt me. But yeah, very, very interesting that was a perspective that a lot of the people who wanted to partner up and do projects from some of the biggest firms, that was their kind of, because I like 13K followers is not a lot, but it obviously gets attention. You get the attention from other things that you're contributing. So yeah.
I
just be nice.
Stephen Steele, what's a pleb abstractus means? Pleb is just kind of slang for somebody who doesn't have a ton of money. You know, you're not, peasant. You're peasant. It's like slang. It's like crypto slang for a peasant. I used to get into it more. Now I rarely do, but sometimes I will defend myself. I won't get super argumentative. I'll just be like, well, why do you feel that way? Or I'll say, well, that's not true. But 95% of the time now, I just block and move on. Right when I start even sensing that kind of vibe, I'm just like, yeah, block, done. You know?
Yeah, the blocking I definitely do. I give them a chance to reply. But if you're going to bring negativity, like, the world has enough of that, get out of here. But also, like, I remember when I posted for Afghanistan, and I just wrote, like, just please pray for my country. A few people, there were like 3 comments that said, oh yeah, like, praying's going to solve anything, from someone who's like enjoying the riches in a first world country. And I was like, you know what?
God.
Yeah, I was like, that's okay. You know what? I might just start a charity and donate money, since I've got a bit of influence and I can do something with it. And it did. It gave me that opportunity, and I, reached my target within 24 hours. So sometimes you just need to convert that into like give it a positive spin and just keep going.
Yeah, right on. Speaking of keeping going, I am not going to keep going, because you and I are going to be back here tomorrow night.
Yes, we are. And I need to get up and make some dinner at some point. So as amazing as it has been, I think it's time to wrap up.
Yeah, I want to thank everyone for coming out. And don't worry, Sadaf will be back with me tomorrow night. We got her 2 nights in a row. So she'll be back, same bat time, same bat channel, guys. And we're going to do it all over again. But I need to rest my throat, have some tea, and a bit of dinner, and just unwind a bit. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys so much. Tim says that's the reason we're here. Stephen, mature, chill, commentary, no drama. Yeah, I honestly do think that the community here is a reflection of that. I mean, we've got an awesome community here. I'm very thankful for you guys. Thank you everyone for super chatting. I really appreciate it. And Sadaf, I am going to send you some Dogecoin right when you get off the air here. If anyone else wants to send Sadaf a few more Dogecoin, let's get her more invested in the Dogecoin community, so then she has more of an vested interest, and she can enjoy the rocket ride with us a little bit more. Thank you so much again, everyone. Really, really appreciate you guys. Let's keep the positivity going strong, that Doge momentum going strong. Until tomorrow night, this is Stephen Steele and Sadaf Jadran signing off. Over and out, guys.
Thanks, guys.